everybody! Unless you are completely off of social media or you don't follow any sort of news outlet, you've heard of cancel culture. I feel like it's been a goal to cancel as many people as possible lately. But I have come to realize that cancel culture just deals with the symptoms of a much larger problem rather than treating it. Some people are so against cancel culture, but then other people argue that it's completely necessary. Like everything else in the world, I think it really just comes down to who you're talking to. So if you're interested in this discussion topic, keep watching. So what exactly is it? What exactly is cancel culture? I've read that it's supposed to be a tool for social justice, but what I've experienced is that it's evolved into a way of intimidating people so they avoid bad behavior. And apparently there are two main origins of it, but the one that I'm more familiar with was when celebrities would be canceled for either saying or doing things that would be considered problematic. And that's a whole other issue in itself of what exactly is considered problematic. Some say it's subjective. There was this University of Michigan professor that called it a cultural boycott, and that could be of a brand, an individual, a company. But I actually liked how simple that definition was. Unfortunately, from what I've seen, it's just turned into complete harassment. There's a difference between boycotting something and waiting for change, and boycotting with the malicious intent of wanting to destroy somebody or their life. And it's fairly new. What I mean by new also is that it's been around for like approximately 5 years or so. It started out as a trend, simple words, and then it completely turned into a weapon. Call it what you want, but to me, it just kind of sounds and feels like blackmail. It started out in a well-meaning place of wanting to hold people, companies, brands accountable for any kind of problematic behavior. But playing devil's advocate for a moment, I do think that in its extreme, cancel culture is very harmful and unhealthy. However, I will say that those who are doing it right are providing opportunity for anyone, even if that's the company, to right their wrongs. So I do think that it had the potential to be a really good tool, whether that be really good or bad. It just depends on how we use it or how we've been using it. Now, rightfully canceling someone because they've done some really messed up stuff is something that I can totally agree with. But it's really hard for me to want to cancel somebody for some mistakes that they made in the past, especially if those are mistakes that maybe even I've made in the past. How is it right for me to shun someone for the same mistakes that I had the chance to change? So just for fun, I went looking for some examples of recent cancels, and we've got Sia, who is an Australian singer who debuted a movie called Music. And that movie follows an autistic teenager, and that the whole issue is a lot of people felt that that teenager was not portrayed correctly. We also have Armie Hammer. He is an actor who is now accused of predatory behavior, sexual assault, and a cannibalism fetish. For maybe some of the younger generations, they are more familiar with David Dobrik. He is an American YouTuber who is famous for his prank videos, but now he's being accused of sexual assault and just general problematic behavior. For all of the people in the beauty community, you are 100% aware of the issues that are going around with James Charles. He is a beauty guru that is currently being accused of pedophilia and grooming when multiple minors accused him of indecent behavior. I mean, so far they all seem pretty justified, right? Oh, also super popular, Ellen DeGeneres, a TV host who is canceled for creating a toxic work environment. We also have J.K. Rowling. She's the author of the Harry Potter series, if you are unfamiliar. And she was accused of showing support for a woman with a history of transphobia. And not to mention the hundreds of YouTuber apology videos that we get to watch annually. Because honestly, I feel like YouTubers get hit really hard and then they're more obligated to make an apology video. I mean, if we're looking at YouTubers, we've got James Charles again. Jeffree Star, he's got a handful of them. Also, not a real source to anything, but if you want to have a good chuckle on some of the latest YouTuber apologies, this one site may be worth your time, VULTURE. I'll leave a link in the description. But maybe it's because I don't have Twitter and I don't have TikTok, but when I was looking for examples, I didn't know half these people. But I also paid more attention to the more serious accusations. But I think that says something that all of the people that are being canceled, a lot of people haven't heard about them unless you're really in the community that they're in. So cancel culture and hypocrisy. Rather than just delving into a situation, people tend to make really quick judgments. And then from there, they shut out any attempt of acknowledging past mistakes. There's no conversation. There's no discussion on how these behaviors and statements are harmful. And what bothers me the most is how people are ostracized. So someone explain this to me. You cancel someone without allowing them to learn from their mistakes and better themselves. Eventually then, if it's gonna continue down that path, everyone's gonna be canceled, and then we're left with what? Honestly, a bunch of bad people who didn't get the opportunity to grow. Just because they're canceled doesn't mean they go away. They're still there. I guess I'm just wondering, is that supposed to be a victory? With that, I'm wondering, how do you better society that way? It seems like a very passive-aggressive way to bully somebody for not having the same ideology as us. And I mean, imagine, I don't know, maybe giving somebody the opportunity to grow and learn first, giving them the opportunity to change from their mistakes. But that's not possible because we're at a point right now where no one is allowed to make a mistake. And if you do make a mistake, your entire reputation is ruined. I mean, not only mistakes, but people change over time. I'm not who I was 10 years ago. I'm not even who I was like a year and a half ago. There's a big difference between when you don't like a person or a company, so you choose not to support them or follow them, give them any kind of attention. And then not liking an individual or a company and choosing to destroy their life and deciding that they don't deserve a career. But who are we to make that decision? And I know this is going to be controversial when I say this, but it's almost like those who try to cancel people with malicious intent assume that their perspective is the most important and relevant one. But I also don't understand why people get really upset when they try to cancel celebrities and then they get upset when the celebrity has more attention drawn to them. I personally believe, and I agree, that keeping people in check is very important. But I do feel that we need to collectively make better decisions on who is being canceled and for what reasons. I want to go back to how people change over time for just a moment. I've seen a lot of back and forth about past jokes and tweets. People are being canceled for past tweets where they use derogatory terms, and no, I am not saying it's justified, but I do believe that majority of the time we see that a lot of those people have a change of heart. They no longer hold those same views. I've seen the argument where those jokes still weren't okay in the past, and that those at the butt of the joke just had to sit there and take it. But it's because of that where we now have a culture where that's not accepted. I'm also referring to racist, sexist, transphobic, and like homophobic jokes, just for an example. And you're right, with our culture now, that is not appropriate and that is not acceptable. But it's with cancel culture that people dig and dig and dig until they find a joke that someone had said from the past. I'm not sure how someone could think that destroying a person's career over something they said over 10 years ago makes them a better person, where they get that victory. It's one thing if that person continues to act the same, but if you had to work hard to find that problem, what does that tell you? Again, our culture is ever changing, and if they do have the same views, go off. Better yet, they learned and they grew with the times. Isn't that what we want? But I do understand how canceling someone could be used as a tool when they aren't sorry or if they haven't changed. In all honesty, a lot of attempts at canceling someone doesn't really work. Not saying that it never has, I'm just saying majority of the time. How many times has Chris Brown been canceled, but he's still sitting here making music and doing just fine? Same thing with Taylor Swift, or the recently very failed attempt at canceling Eminem. Now, I do feel like R. Kelly and Kevin Spacey are the two celebrities that like really got canceled. But still, these cancellations are typically very brief, and the celebs make a comeback at some point. What I do, I guess, like about cancel culture is that if we're specifically talking about celebrities, these celebrities now know that their fans or their audience are going to hold them accountable going forward. Then again, there is that argument of if you don't like it, then just don't watch it. So yeah, that's today's video. To me, cancel culture just seems a little counterproductive at the moment, but I do believe in the potential that it had, or has, I guess. If you partake in cancel culture, I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts. And maybe it comes with my career where I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt or the opportunity to right their wrongs. And I know that just may not sit well with a lot of people, and that's perfectly fine. But maybe there's something that I'm missing. If there is, let me know. Feel free to subscribe. If not, feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is intricate. Just a side note, I don't like using Facebook, so please don't ever try to contact me there. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next one. Thank you. Bye.